Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to go over my October TBR. I have a lot of books to go over, and unfortunately, because I have so many reading plans for October already, I will not be doing my TBR jar and I will not be doing any scratch off cards. But my hope is that I can bring them for November and pick a few more fall prompts and scratch off a few more scratch off cards. But we're not doing that this month. We're just doing a good old-fashioned regular TBR stack, and I definitely have some priority books. I also have some readathons that I'm participating in. I'm hosting both of the readathons, so I have to participate in them. I have some book club picks, etc. Let's just go ahead and jump into the books. The first set of books are ones that I'm reading for my Patreon and my book club. So I have 3 of those. We are continuing in the Inheritance game series. We are up to The Brothers Hawthorne, and I am so happy I got this in paperback. I don't know what I'm gonna do when the rest of the series comes out, because we're basically discussing them like as they're coming out now, so they're only going to be available in hardcover, and I heavily annotate my books as I read them for discussions and stuff, so I'm not sure how I'm going to handle that. This may be the last paperback for a while, but I'm very excited. This says 4 brothers, 2 missions, 1 explosive read, and I have heard from people that have read the series that this didn't live up to like the original trilogy, but I do think it's an important part of the series, so I'm excited to read it. I love Grayson, I love Jameson. I'm ready to dive more into their stories and what's going on. So looking forward to this chunky book. It's over 450 pages, but sometimes I just feel like I can't get enough, so I'm excited. But we are buddy reading the entire series, so every single month I'm picking up a new book in this series. For the Night Owl Book Club, which if you don't know, I do have my very own book club. You do have to be the highest tier in my Patreon to participate in the book club. But we have some really exciting things planned for 2025, or I should say I have some really exciting things planned for 2025. So you're going to want to consider becoming a night owl and a barn owl tier so you can participate in all things book club. And you also have access to all of the backlist book discussions that we've done. So in October, we're doing a double header, the first ever double header, because I put like 4 books up for vote and these tied, and I was like, why not do both? If you want to read both, let's read both. So at 7 p.m. we will be discussing We Used to Live Here. This is very buzzy right now. I've heard great things. I know some people on my Patreon are rereading it. Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the discussion for this one. Get Out meets Parasite in this eerily haunting debut and Reddit hit, soon to be a major motion picture about 2 homeowners whose lives are turned upside down when the house's previous residents unexpectedly visit. And I've heard that there's like some things that you have to try to like solve on your own. I don't know. I'm trying to keep my eyes away from any reviews, thoughts, or feelings so I can form my own, you know, but I'm looking forward to this one. And then at 8 p.m. we're going to be diving into the discussion of So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison. And I just want to say that there are certain patrons of mine that don't read horror, but they're taking a chance on this, and I love them for it because I really do enjoy Rachel Harrison's writing. There's only been 1 book that I was kind of like, this is not my thing, but I'm really hoping I enjoy this one. It's rather short. I think it's going to have to do with like friendship, maybe possible vampires. And it just says, a woman must learn to take life by the throat after a night out leads to changes in this juicy, thrilling novel. Also, yes, I did get the signed copy from Aardvark Book Club because they are amazing. And if you want to sign up for Aardvark Book Club, maybe you can snag a signed copy by using my code TALKBOOKISH at checkout, which gets you your first book for only $4. All right, I also have a few buddy reads that I'm doing this month. First up is I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. I did decide to take a chance on this book. I don't know if I'll regret it, but I have some friends to back me up. I'm going to be buddy reading this with Jules from Jules Books and Things and Jessie from Reading with Jess. We're going to each read the book and watch a slasher. I don't know if we've decided of a slasher to watch together or if we're each picking our own, but I'm excited to give it a go and decide once and for all if I want to continue picking up books by this author. And then my next buddy read is something that doesn't fit with the rest of my TBR. But Keisha and I have been talking about reading Very Sincerely Yours by Kerry Winfried for the longest time. So I'm very excited to dive into this one and discuss it with Keisha as we read it. It's charming, heartwarming, and it's a romantic comedy, which is one of my very favorites. So maybe this is a good thing that we're reading it in October instead of November, so it can break up all of my other type of spooky reads for October. Yeah, okay. I'm excited. I've had this on my TBR for a while. I think it's like You've Got Mail. So, yes, there's lots of emails in here. I'm so excited. I am also hosting, the first readathon that I am hosting is over on my Patreon. It is the fall edition of the Goosebumps readathon. I did one of these back in the summer and I said it would be back in the fall, so here it is. I'm not going to go through all of the prompts, but 2 Goosebumps books that I am hoping to read for that is Welcome to Dead House by R.L. Stine and The Haunted Mask by R.L. Stine. I think this will be only my second and third. Have I only read one or have I read 2 Goosebumps? I'm getting confused. But these are the 2 that I'm hoping to read during that readathon, along with a few other things. But yes, this fits the vibe of the readathon. And that is happening from October 3rd until the 7th. We also have a fun game night planned. We also have reading sprints. We're also doing a movie night. So it's a very interactive readathon and it's going to be so much fun, and I cannot wait because it's going to be like one of the first things I do in the month. The second readathon that I'm hosting is a 24-hour spooky middle grade readathon called Spooktacular, and it is a 24-hour readathon, but I do have 2 books on my TBR for that because they do tend to read fast, and I am hosting reading sprints on October 11th because it runs from the 11th to the 12th, starting at 8 p.m., ending at 8 p.m. I mean, you can bend and stretch that time however you see fit, but yes, these are the 2 books. The first is Empty Smiles, which is about a group of friends that have been tackling the Smiling Man, and this is the 4th book in the Small Spaces Quartet. And then I also have The Ghosts of Nameless Island, and this is like a new 2024 release. It has spooky things on the cover, and this is about 12-year-old Gus, who is basically dealing with ghosts that are starting to hurt him. So I almost forgot to mention the Sleep When I'm Dead book club pick for October, The Hitchcock Hotel by 𝒑𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒔. I am very excited about this, not only because I have enjoyed another book by the author, but of course Jessie's discussing this, but she's having Wendy and Leah Beth come on her channel and discuss this book with her, and I'm so pumped. A Hitchcock fanatic with an agenda invites old friends for a weekend stay at his secluded themed hotel in this fiendishly clever, suspenseful new novel from the internationally best-selling author of Darling Rose Gold, which I haven't read, but I have read This Might Hurt. So I'm really looking forward to reading and discussing this with other members of the Sleep When I'm Dead crew. I will have information here on the screen about when that discussion is and all of that jazz, but I didn't want to forget to include this in my TBR because I'm definitely going to be reading it. So those are kind of mandatory-ish books that I'm reading, and then I just have another stack of books that I have been saving for October. So let's go through those. The first one being Prom House by Chelsea Mueller. I picked this up at the Book Exchange. YA slasher, don't know too much about it. There's a killer after party, and it takes place at this gorgeous beach house, and yeah, it's a slasher. There's a violent storm, people start dying. I'm all about that life. None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney. This is a serial killer survivors. There's two teenagers. They're helping the FBI like work on these cold cases. So it's kind of giving me the Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes vibes, and I am here for it because I absolutely loved that series. The next book is going to shock some of you guys, so I want to give you a little backstory about this. So back in February, I had Grace from Grace Lauren here on YouTube over on my podcast, Talk Bookish to Me, and we talked about hot drinks and hot romance. And some of the questions that I ask my guests is like, what are you currently reading? What was your last 5-star read? And Grace said that her last 5-star read was this book. And she kind of told me a little bit about it and sold me on the book. And because it is about a young woman that has a monster inside her, I was like, ooh, that sounds like the perfect book to read in October. So I have it. I'm hoping to read it in October, but it's a little outside my, no, it's a lot outside my comfort zone, and that is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This will be the first book that I read by the author. Like I said, I don't know too much. I only know what Grace told me. I read the synopsis when I got it, of course, and it sounds very, very interesting. So I'm looking forward to this. I also have a couple of Stephen King books that I want to get to. I have had The Long Walk on my TBR for a while, okay, and it needs to happen. I need to get this off of my TBR. But one I added to my TBR last fall was Pet Sematary, and I never got around to it. This is the one that I'm actually the most excited about. I think this is one of his most popular books, so I'm really looking forward to this one. I hope I love it as much as everybody else does. We shall see. Two more. Next up is At Home with the Horrors by Sammy Scott. This is a anthology of short stories, and I think I'm going to be reading this with Jules from Jules Books and Things as well. My patron Faith sent this to me, and I have already divided up the little stories, so I am ready to go. I probably will read it in one sitting, but I do have the option to read just like a story at a time if I want. And then the last book that is on my TBR, it's been on there for a couple years, is Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. I really have enjoyed so many of Grady Hendrix's books. I'm actually going to be discussing his new 2025 book on my podcast in the new year, so stay tuned for that. I'm also discussing that with Jules and Sav from Riveting Reads, so I just cannot wait. But yeah, I want to get to this one before that episode, and now seems like the perfect time. So that is my October TBR. There are so many books that I want to read, and this is why I didn't do my TBR jar or my scratch off cards, but like I said, hopefully that will be back in November. But let me know what you're looking forward to reading in October, and leave the pumpkin emoji down below if you can't think of anything else to say. And I hope you guys are having a lovely day or night, because I'll see you guys again in another video very soon. Bye, friends.